Hey, welcome in.
Welcome to the Arrowhead Addict podcast.
We are here coming to you live.
The Kansas City Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl. You only win a Super Bowl 2 times every 5 years, right?
Oh!
The warm-up act is over. Let's bring in Melissa Etheridge, massive Chiefs fan. Melissa,
Super Bowl champion, 2-time Pro Bowler, and Trent Green. Trent Green, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
And he picked it up! He picked it up! He's gonna score! And we'll see you next week. But until then, as always, go Chiefs. Welcome in. It's the Arrowhead Addict podcast, Thursday edition. Patrick Allen here, as always, riding solo today. I got to tell you guys, you just can't count on this crew sometimes at the Arrowhead Addict podcast. You know, I'm sitting here thinking I can just, grab one of them last minute, get them on the show. Oh, Matt Connor, he's got a thing in his kid's school. Adam Best, he's, doing Adam Best. He's probably got to go shop for some new flowery shirts. Yeah, the viewers are the co-hosts. You guys are going to be the co-hosts today with me. We are going to talk this out. There's a bunch of different Chiefs topics I want to hit today. Some of them are not happy topics. They're annoying topics. The Chris Jones situation. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about the NFL 100, which I've got a big bone to pick with the people that put that together. We're going to play some true or false on some different predictions that we have for this coming season. That should be a lot of fun, really interactive. So make sure you stick around for that towards the end of the show. Alan F says, zoom me in. I'll share the spotlight. Right? Maybe I'll do that one of these days, is just grab one of the listeners, grab one of the people watching on YouTube and throw you on the show. If you want to do me a favor right now, hit that thumbs up button. If you're watching live on YouTube, let's get a bunch of Chiefs fans in here and let's talk a little bit of ball. I didn't even, usually I pull the YouTube up and I didn't even do it today. So I'm going to have to do that right now, because then I like to see what you guys are up to. How many of you are watching, all that fun stuff. But let's talk about, before we talk about anything, I'll get yelled at by producer Richard. I got to let you know that we got a betting deal with Caesars Sportsbook. So attention to Chiefs fans. We have an unbeatable offer for you from Caesars Sportsbook. New customers can get their first bet insured up to $1,250 using the code ARROWFUL. That's ARROWFUL while signing up. Not only will your first bet be completely insured, but you'll also be directly supporting this podcast. Isn't that amazing? So if you haven't already joined Caesars Sportsbook, now's the perfect time to make your move. Just remember to enter the code ARROWFUL during sign up and place that first bet. This offer is only available for new customers who are 21 and older and physically present in a legal gambling state. Please remember to always gamble responsibly. Check the episode description for the full terms of the offer. And if you already have a Caesars account, you can head to arrowheadaddict.com/bets to find more betting offers and ways to support the podcast. All right. So shout out to everybody out there watching on YouTube. Shout out to Stacy. She says, I'm in from Dallas. But from KC, Chiefs fan till I die. What's up, Stacy? I can't remember if I've seen you in here before. But welcome to the crew. John Johnson says, I noticed Snead was out for today. Yeah, I want to talk about Snead a little bit later because he's in a contract year. We're going to have to dive into that and talk about whether or not we think he's going to be back next year. Cool. All right. So listen, the first thing we got to talk about, I'm sure you're ready for it, is the Chris Jones situation. So if you're not one of these people like me who are perpetually online, Stacy says already, yes, you have. Sorry, Stacy, for not remembering. But welcome back. Chris Jones, if you're not perpetually online like me, he's got Twitter, Stone Cold Jones 95, I think is his Twitter. It's also his Instagram. So if you go to Instagram and you look him up, it's Stone Cold Jones 95, and you click on his story, if you know what that is, which is like click on the profile picture, you're going to see this, right? And how well you can see it on my camera but there it is. It says, is it reversed, Richard? I don't know. Anyway, it says it's reversed. It says, guess all good things must come to an end. It's highlighted. It's from, I think, a lyric from a song. So obviously people catch that kind of cryptic stuff. And there's been a few cryptic things coming out of his camp recently. And everybody on Twitter is losing their minds. They're sharing the screenshot of this on Twitter. Richard, if you want to pull up the screenshot, I think Adam Best tweeted it out. Look, man, the situation just keeps going on and on and on. Now, I want to just start by addressing the cryptic tweet. I'm not too worried about it. Is it about the Chiefs? Maybe not. I mean, look, I grew up in the AOL instant messenger era. We were putting passive aggressive shit up on that thing all the time. It was about, girls you wanted to date, some teacher that pissed you off, your parents, right? So Chris Jones is all about the Chiefs. There it is. There's the tweet. As you can see, guess all good things must come to an end. And that's kind of highlighted, right? So obviously that's what he wants people to see. But like, guys, come on. He's a football player, but he's got a whole life. It could be about anything. He could be mad at a buddy or something. I don't know. Like, is it maybe about the Chiefs? Is he trying to take a shot? Did he get some bad news and he's mad at them? So he threw that up there. Maybe it's possible, but I wouldn't read too much into it. And I wouldn't worry too much about it. I'm not saying you shouldn't be concerned, but I wouldn't worry too much about it just because Chris Jones is under contract with the Chiefs this year. Now, could this whole thing fall apart and could he be traded? Yes, that's possible, but I think it's highly unlikely. If the Chiefs were going to trade Chris Jones, they were going to want to trade him before the draft. Now is not a good time to be trading Chris Jones because, unless they're getting some sort of marquee player back for him, nothing is going to help them this year. It wouldn't make sense to trade him. They want him to come and play and try to win another Super Bowl. Then, all bets are off after that, right? But he wants this contract extension, and they're probably going to work it out. Now, Diana Rossini from ESPN, she was on Pardon My Take with Pat McAfee today, and she was asked about this situation. She said she spoke to somebody this morning from the Chiefs, and then it sounded like, now this was before Chris Jones tweeted this cryptic thing, but she said it basically sounds like they're still confident that things are going to get done. But she did say Chris Jones wants a really big number. Now we knew he wanted a big number, but how big, she obviously didn't say, unfortunately. But that's what's slowing this up, right? And we've talked about this time and time again on the podcast. Brett Veach has a number that he wants to sign Chris Jones for. So this is negotiation. And Chris Jones is leveraging the leverage that he has, which is to not show up to training camp and to make the Chiefs sweat it out. And it's a game of chicken. So if you think about it in those terms, it makes sense that nothing's got done yet. He wants as much money as he can possibly get. The Chiefs want to save as much cap flexibility as they can. And remember, he's a guy that is, Chris Jones is not an ascending player anymore. He's at his peak right now. He may have another year or two, or maybe hopefully more of elite production, but he's not going to get any better. He's probably not going to come and turn in a 20, break the sack record, right? Like he had 15 and a half sacks last year. That is, I think he can be. Some people are asking in the chat, can Jones be franchised next year? I believe he can. So, the Chiefs are, I'm sure that Brett Veach is trying to work this into the calculus, is if he gives some massive, say, 4-year deal to Chris Jones and it's $30 million a year, he's probably thinking about, remember, Chris Jones he's a young 29. He just turned 29 in July. So he's got his 29-year-old season, then his 30-year-old season if you sign him to a 4-year deal. Then after that, 31, he takes a lot of abuse. He plays a ton of snaps. Does his play start to decline? How much are you paying him at that point? Does he start to have injuries? The Chiefs know more about Chris Jones and his various injuries that he might have had over the course of his career while playing there than we do. There could be concerns about that. Like, we just don't know. There's a lot that we don't know. But I'm sure that Brett Veach is thinking about the latter couple years of that potential contract and thinking, well, look, man, I got this guy named Nick Bolton. I got this guy named Trey Smith. I got Creed Humphrey. I got to pay these guys. The bill's going to be coming due on them. What about Willie Gay Jr.? Trent McDuffie. Like they have invested in getting younger and cheaper. And there's going to be some of these guys that they're probably going to want to give a second contract to. I know right now it seems like the Chiefs don't want to pay anybody, right? Because they let Tyreek Hill walk. They let Orlando Brown Jr. walk. They replaced him with spare parts. Now they're being frugal, I guess you can say, with Chris Jones. And Chris Jones is the one that raises my eyebrows because it's like, all right, well, if you're not going to pay Chris Jones, like, who are you going to pay? Is it nobody? Is it would you pay Kelsey if he wanted more money? Obviously, Patrick Mahomes are going to pay Patrick Mahomes, but that's kind of the situation that they're in. But right now, I say don't worry because they're in a game of chicken. And Chris Jones has no reason to show up to camp when he hasn't gotten what he wanted yet. And Brett Veach knows that Chris Jones, he doesn't need Chris Jones to go through training camp. He's 29 years old. He got 15 and a half sacks last year. Yeah, you want him to be stretched out and all that stuff, but it's not like he's got to learn the defense. So there's just not a huge rush to get a deal done right now on either side. I'm sure the Chiefs would love to have Chris Jones in the training camp. I'm sure Steve Spagnuolo would like to have him in training camp, all that stuff. But it just kind of is what it is right now. And anything that Chris Jones can throw out, like if that Instagram post is about the Chiefs and he's trying to put heat on the Chiefs, because it does a little bit, right, in the court of public opinion. Like he tweets that out, right? Or he puts it on Instagram. People assume it's about the Chiefs. Then people get asked about it. Diana Rossini today gets asked about Chris Jones. Maybe tomorrow, now that people see that. Is it being talked about on ESPN? Does that make Brett Veach sweat? I doubt it. But like, you'd rather not have that talk going on if you could help it. Brett Veach, he's been on the show. He's calm, cool, collected, smart, very calculated. I don't think he's sweating this. I think he wants to get a deal done, but he's got to do his job. And that means using leverage, trying to get the best deal possible so that he has cap flexibility. And Chris Jones and his representatives are doing their job. So I think we should all just take a deep breath. I know now that like there's a football game tonight, right? The Hall of Fame game is tonight. I think it's Browns Jets. So that's exciting. And we're all starting to tune in now, and we're like, what do we have to worry about as Chiefs fans? We're coming off a Super Bowl win. We got, Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce. The team looks really good. These young wide receivers are balling out at camp right now. Like, that's really exciting. So what are we going to focus on? We would focus on the Chris Jones situation. Look around the league. Take a step back. Look around the league. We're in good shape. Like, we're doing okay. It's not ideal, but every NFL team, look at the Broncos. It's like a mash unit over there. Guys getting hurt every day. So the Chiefs right now, knock on wood, no crazy major injuries other than obviously the Kadarius Toney thing. Some guys are banged up. Colin Saunders come back, Turk Wharton came back. So, this sucks. It's not ideal. He's extremely important to the team, but we probably shouldn't really worry until we're like a week out from the season, and we shouldn't panic until he's not on the field in week 1. Until that point, it's the preseason, man. Like, NFL continues to devalue the preseason. There's one fewer game. I don't think this is a veteran team with the Chiefs. They've got young players, but I don't think anybody's too concerned about it. So sometimes these things just don't get done until they absolutely have to get done. And that's probably going to be the case here. The good news is Chris Jones has been on the record as saying he doesn't want to play anywhere but Kansas City. I think that's true. And I don't think the Chiefs are lowballing him or something. But like, so here's what Future Trunks in the chat says. Yeah, but the top 3 is like between 28 and 34 million. D-line market is not optimal. It's not. But $1 million is $1 million. So like, I don't know, like say Chris is asking for 34. Say he wants to be the highest paid defensive tackle. I know there was reports that he wanted to be the second highest paid tackle after Darnold, but like maybe he's looking at his 15 and a half sacks last year and he's like, I should be number 1, man. Like I should be making 32, 31, whatever. Like, and the Chiefs are like, look, man, like we're prepared to give you like 28 or 29. And, they're starting down there and they're going to meet in the middle or, 29, 29 and a half a year or something like that. It's tough. But they're playing out their hands here. Lori says, come on, Veach, work this out with CJ. I've no doubt that he will. He's not an idiot. Like, they know how important Chris Jones is to what they do on defense. And they've got some unproven pass rushers there, right? FAU, George Karlaftis did okay last year, but he's got to make the jump. So they need Chris Jones. They know that. He's crucial to them trying to win another Super Bowl on the defensive side of the ball. I think it's going to get done. But we're just going to have to ride out this sort of uncomfortable period. And I'm sure Chris Jones is in no hurry to get into that 90 degree weather and Andy Reid's training camp and do reps as well. So, he may feel a little bit differently about the negotiations in a couple of weeks. All right. One thing I did want to bring up, though, in regards to this, and let me know what you think in the chat, because I said you guys are my co-hosts today. 2 questions. Do you think the Chiefs are being unreasonably frugal when it comes to Chris Jones? Is this a situation, in your opinion, where they should just, come on, man, it's Chris Jones, 15.5 sacks. He's the leader of the defense. Just sign him. Just give it whatever. It's a couple million more. Just give it to him. Give him guarantee, put it in signing bonus. Spend more cash, right? Are you on that team? Or are you glad that Brett Veach is doing what he's doing? Do you think the Chiefs should be frugal to continue to make sure they maintain ultimate flexibility around Patrick Mahomes? Because you never know when a catastrophic injury is going to happen. Something could happen to the interior offensive lineman or something like that, and the Chiefs need to do something. What do you think about that? And then my second question is, do you worry, and I saw our old pal Matt Verderham talking about this on Twitter a couple of days ago, do you worry that this negotiation with Chris Jones could raise eyebrows in the locker room? Should it raise eyebrows in the locker room? And what about the impact it might have on potential free agents in the future? So those are my 2 questions. Because, and what I mean when I say this is, are people in the locker room being like, God damn, you just can't get paid here? They watched Tyreek Hill walk and get paid. They watched Orlando Brown Jr. walk and get paid. Is that making guys think, if Chris Jones can't get paid, right? That's the angle here, right? If Chris Jones can't get paid, they're smart. They know who the best players on the team are. They know it's Chris Jones and Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. So what hope does a L'Jarius Sneed have, which we're going to talk about a little bit later? What hope does a Trent McDuffie have? George Karlaftis, those guys that, Creed Humphreys. Creed Humphrey are they just going to let him go? Are they going to trade him because they don't want to put too much money in the center position when he's an all-pro? What do you guys think? Let's hit the chat. Future Trunk says, now I'm with Verderham on this. You don't pay Mahomes and Kelce to sign elite talent, and you can't get this done. That will upset the locker room. Right. Supposedly Mahomes been on the record, Kelce, they want to try to keep a competitive team. They want other guys to get paid. The fact that this negotiation seems to be going on so long, does that frustrate Mahomes? Is he hey, man, I could be making a little bit more here, but I want to win. Why aren't you paying my guy, Chris Jones? Cole says, my understanding is that they're far apart on what they're far apart on is number of years. And that could be it. Brett Veach may be looking at it and being look, man, let's do 2. And then, maybe he wants to do it like that. From here on out, 2 years with the team option in the second year or something like that, or 2 years or 3 years with the team option in the third year, and Chris Jones wants 4 guaranteed, something like that. That could potentially be the issue here, where Veach wants to get out before it's too late. And the Patriots were famous for this, right? They would get out. They would always get out from under guys during their dynasty before they kind of hit the decline. Rarely would, and sometimes they would go and sign a big contract somewhere else. They'd have one good year and then that was it. Brian says, give CJ the money. Without CJ, this D would be the 20th rated defense. That means no repeat. Yeah, I think they've got to be better than that. In the AFC with all these quarterbacks, they're probably going to run into the Bengals again. You've got to be better than that. And if you are middle of the pack, we've seen they can win the Super Bowl. If they're top 10, your chances go up in an insane way because we know the offense is going to put up points with Patrick Mahomes. So it's about slowing down. And that's what happened in the AFC Championship game, right? The Chiefs defense was out of control in the first quarter. They basically shut down the Bengals for an entire quarter. And the Chiefs still just squeaked by. So that's what they need to do. They need to be able to, you can't stop Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow and these offenses and Josh Allen, the Bills. Like, you can't totally stop them. Maybe a team like the 49ers could with their defense, but like the Chiefs right now, at least, they haven't had a defense like that. You just got to slow them down enough for Patrick Mahomes to outduel them. Clinton says, is Veach overcorrecting for past signings like Barry and Frank Clark? Yeah, I mean, look, like everybody grows in their job. Brett Veach has been an excellent GM. He made some moves early on as a young GM, and now he sort of seems to have switched things up a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't say compensating, but maybe he learned something from those deals that he doesn't want to repeat those mistakes. And maybe he's looking at other teams, like look at the Green Bay Packers, look at Seattle with Russell Wilson. Like, they never won another Super Bowl. He doesn't want to be, now he's won 2 already, so he's probably feeling good. And that does buy him some equity with making decisions like this. He doesn't want to, he's got a chance. And we've talked about this on the show before. Like, he's got a chance along with Mahomes to just, and Reid to just like go insane, go right into the Hall of Fame with this, like an incredible run if they can manage it properly and keep talent around Pat. Ken says, think they overpaid there for right tackle, left tackle. So they cornholed themselves with Trey Humphrey next year and Chris this year. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I've been on the record as saying I'm worried about the tackle situation. I don't think it's going to be a disaster, but I'm concerned. I hope that it plays out better than my doubt. I've got doubt, right? We're going to have to get into the season and see how it goes. John F's Wacky World, what's up, man? Says Anthony Hitchens plus Frank Clark makes you do a double take. Yeah, absolutely. Future Trunk says, I'm not that into finances. Could it be an issue of money as well? The owners can't put up like 120 million on the spot for Jones. It's like there's the salary cap and then there's cash, and they can spread it out into the future. So I was debating our own Adam Best about this the other day. Adam was saying, hey, this is on Clark. Like, Clark's got a tight budget when it comes to the cash. Now, remember, when they put money into a signing bonus, they can spread that out over the length of the contract. So if they sign Chris Jones for 4 years, they could pay him $29 million, a $29 million signing bonus. And then his base salary would be $1 million a year if they wanted to pay him $30 million. And then his cap hit each year would be spread, that $29 million, they could spread that out. He wants $30 million a year. So my analogy here is bad, but like, you can spread the bonus out throughout the length of the contract for 4 years, right? So that it only hits the cap. It doesn't hit the cap all at once, but he gets his money and it's guaranteed. And Clark has to put that in escrow. So that's where the cash spending comes into play. Once you give somebody that bonus, they're going to get it, whether you cut them or not. And that's why teams get into cap hell, and they got guys, they're paying guys who aren't on the team anymore. The Chargers are starting to get into that territory, the Saints. So that's not something you want with Patrick Mahomes, and Patrick Mahomes signed a deal to give you the ultimate flexibility. Lori says Patrick wants Chris out there. Yeah, I agree. Future says, I mean, the Hunt's got money, but that kind of money, I mean, they have a lot of money. They have a lot of money. Clark Hunt's a billionaire. But like, again, you got to tie that money up. It's got to go into escrow, right? So, whatever's guaranteed and however you have it structured, it's got to go into escrow until it's due, when the guaranteed money. So that's the way the NFL works. So we'll see. Like I said, I think a deal is going to get done. Diana Rossini on the Pat McAfee show said basically that the Chiefs are still, like, they're not panicking. They're a little surprised things have gone the way they have, it seemed like, but they think things are going to get done. All right. I can't talk about Chris Jones anymore. Listen, if you like the Arrowhead Addict podcast, please consider becoming a member of the Arrowhead Addict family. Arrowhead Addict members get access to special emojis and loyalty badges that you can use on our live YouTube streams, like the one you're watching now. And they also get invites to our private Discord where you can hang out with the AA hosts, talk about Chiefs football, movies, beer, so much more. Members also get invites to private events with the hosts, like virtual happy hours. We actually have a virtual happy hour coming up next Tuesday, August 8th at 6 Central. So if you want to hang out with me, Sterling, Matt Connor, talk Chiefs, off the record, off the podcast, it's a lot of fun. Grab a beverage of your choice. consider becoming a member and you'll get the invite to next week's happy hour. Really looking forward to that. So just click the link below in the description. If you're listening to the audio version of this, it's there as well in the description wherever you get this podcast. We'd love to get to know you. And your support is, I can't tell you how much it means to us. It enables us to, I'm a full-time employee at Fansided. Matt Connor's a full-time employee at Fansided. Sterling's not. Sterling contracts with us. This is how we pay Sterling. This is how we pay Adam Best. This is how we pay, Matt Verderam. We want him to come back. We need y'all's support. So we put it all right back into the podcast. We want to just keep expanding this thing for you all. All right. Let's talk to our next topic here, and that is Justyn Ross. He looks really good. I know we've been joking on the podcast about the Justyn Ross cult going all the way back, right, to last year. But John F. says if Sterling holds out for more money, cut him. Indeed, man. Indeed. Yeah, he's greedy. He's always just out there golfing. That's an expensive hobby. Justyn Ross, we've been joking about Justyn Ross and how the guy, he hasn't gone for over 1,000 yards in a football season since 2018 at Clemson. Then he had injuries. Then he came back, and he wasn't overwhelming at Clemson. Had the neck issue, injury issues, didn't get drafted. The Chiefs got him off the scrap heap. Comes in, immediately hurt again, lands on IR. But listen, man, I've seen the clips. So I'm not saying I'm a total convert yet, because it's they're running around in shorts and t-shirts. I know they're practicing in pads now as well. All these guys in the NFL are athletic, right? They can all make circus catches, running around out there playground style in practice, all that stuff. Can he do it in a game? But I've seen the clips. And how can you not get excited by the clips of Justyn Ross? He's 6'4". He's flying out there. His brakes look great. He can stop on a dime, turn around. This is an exciting looking wide receiver. And there's a reason why he had such an incredible season his freshman year at Clemson, and he blew up Alabama in a playoff game. So this is exciting. What's up? KCDC just joined the chat. This is exciting to see, especially because the Chiefs don't, you look at the wide receiver core and okay, you're excited about Skyy Moore, but you don't know. You're excited about Rashee Rice. He's getting lots and lots of good play and reviews at training camp as well. And then you're hearing about Justyn Ross. It sure seems like at this point he's made the team. He's going to make the team. Can he stay healthy? And can he do it in a game? Right? Can he do it consistently at the NFL level? But there's no doubt, looking at the tapes, that he has wide receiver one talent. Just like Kadarius Toney. You watch Kadarius Toney running around out there in the NFL. We've seen him do stuff in the NFL where you're like, holy crap, this guy he is an unbelievable athlete. But can he stay on the field? Can he be a consistent performer when he is on the field? He hasn't really done that yet. So talent's only going to get you so far. It's going to get you to training camp. It might even get you onto the roster. But if you can't produce at a consistent level, it's not going to work out. And we're just not going to know. The next thing will be, we'll see him in a preseason game, and we'll see how he does there. And then we see if he makes the team, if the Chiefs agree with us. And then let's go on the journey. But I think you look at the wide receiver core and you should start to feel excited, because people are saying really great things about Skyy Moore out of camp. They're saying really good things about Rashee Rice. You see what Justyn Ross is doing out there. You know what Toney can do. He's going to be back at some point. They've got MVS. We know what MVS is. If they hit, that's the thing that excites me, man. If they hit on Justyn Ross, Skyy Moore, and Rashee Rice, holy crap. That is... you look at a team like the Bengals, and they've got Tyler Boyd and Chase and T Higgins, and you're like, oh, you're jealous. I'm jealous of their wide receiver core. The Chiefs have a shot. It's probably unlikely, but they have a shot to have three really good young wide receivers. And if Justyn Ross does live up to the potential that we all saw at Clemson in 2018, the NFL is just going to be just furious with itself. And Kadarius Toney, John. Yeah, right. They're going to be furious with themselves for letting the Chiefs get Justyn Ross. And how could you not be? How did we let Patrick Mahomes get Justyn Ross? And credit the Chiefs. And when you look at it, if you're saying, okay, it's between Toney and Moore and Rice and Ross, if two of those guys reach their potential, I'll be thrilled. I'll be doing backflips. We all should be. And if three of them reach their potential, look out, man. There's going to be more Super Bowls coming. So I'm excited about it. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm fired up about Justyn Ross. I am getting closer and closer to joining the cult with the rest of you about thinking that he might be that dude. But we got to see it in a game. So I'll ask you in the chat, co-hosts, weigh in. Go on the record right now. Is Justyn Ross that dude? Is it going to translate what you're seeing at camp right now? All these clips. Is he going to start going into games and racking up, seven catches for 80 yards, 8 catches for, $105? Is he going to be just eating in the red zone with all that length? Steven says Ross will make the team. John F's Wacky World says 6'4", 210, great hands. Ross is that dude. Cole says 100% Ross makes it. Does he do it? Cole, do you think he does it in a regular season game? Like, does it translate? CDC says if he stays healthy, yes. Lori says, I think Ross does. Let's see here. Craig says, Craig's replying to Lori here. KCDC says, not there yet, scared for his health. Yeah, I mean, you like what you see. You haven't heard anything about injuries this summer so far, knock on wood, and you like what you see. Evan says, realistically, he will make the team. I feel about 650 yards on the season. Okay, I've got a question about that later, I think. Cole says, I think it will translate into regular season games. Yes. PJ says, wide receiver 1 through 3 will be James, MVS, Moore. Ross will be a good backup. Yeah, see, I could see things going the way that PJ's saying. Like, we're all jacked up about the talent in camp, and then it turns out and they go the safe route, and it's MVS and it's Skyy Moore and Kelsey, and they're eating up all the targets, and we get a few Rashee Rice, and we get MVS and all that. And Ross is he ends up with 12 catches for. I don't know, maybe he goes off and gets 300 yards or something like Watson did last year. Future Trunk says, is Justin Watson Mahomes' Randall Cobb? Or why is he so high in the hierarchy? I mean, if you look at his efficiency last year, he had something like 15 catches for 300 yards. So he wasn't consistent guy, but when they put him in there, he did run a lot of routes, as I understand it. But maybe he's a guy that Mahomes really trusts and likes. And, LeBron James had guys like that in the NBA. I don't know. All right, let's get to this NFL 100 list. So I don't know if you guys have been following this. It's not even all out yet, but it's mostly out. I'm going to pull it up here. So, they do this every year. Mahomes has won it. There was the one year he was 4th and it was absurd and he was all pissed off. So the NFL top 100 players of 2023 voted on by the players themselves. Okay. And they've been revealing 10 players every weekday through August 3rd. And then they're going to do a conclusion, the top 100 players of 2023, the top 10 on Monday, August 7th. So today's August 3rd. So they've done everybody but the top 10. The number of Kansas City Chiefs, so 90 players have been on here. The number of Kansas City Chiefs that have been on the NFL top 100 list so far is 0. I'm going to say it again. Defending Super Bowl champions, top 100 players in the league is voted by the other players. Number of Chiefs on the list so far is 0. So there's only 10 to go. And you can look at the list and you can start to, I know Lori says, what? Like, you can look at the list and you can start doing like a process of elimination here. And like, you can start to figure out like, all right, like Burrow's not on there yet. Mahomes isn't on there yet. He's going to be on there. No Travis Kelce. Actually, it goes through 21. I'm on their website. Maybe they haven't released. Anyway, go to NFL.com, top 100. So I'm starting to think that this list doesn't have very much legitimacy, because if there's only a handful of spots left, like, Mahomes has got to be on there. He will be on there, okay? Travis Kelce will be on there. Chris Jones presumably will be on there. But after that, like, there's other guys. Creed Humphrey, who many people think is the best center in the NFL. It's like him and Jason Kelce. I think he's surpassed Jason Kelce. I love the guy, but I think Creed's better right now. He's not on this list yet. He was a second-team All-Pro last year. So, like, that's one of the most egregious ones. Joe Toney is not on the list yet. Is Joe Toney top 10 in the NFL? Probably not. But, like, second-team All-Pro last year. Like, those are the guys that, like, okay, like, if the whole All-Pro team, first and second team, isn't on this list, it's not a legitimate list. Like, you might as well just, I don't even know why am I even talking about it? If every single, we all know Pro Bowls are bullshit, and you really can't, like, grain of salt, right? But if all of the All-Pros, which is like legitimately, the current list is breaking, what's that mean? Is it just, is the 20 through 10 coming out breaking you? Oh, it's breaking me. I see what you're saying. It's breaking me, not breaking news. Like, it's not a legitimate list if those guys aren't on there. So we know that Creed should be and Joe Toney should be. And what it seems like is that they're not going to be on it. So then you look at other guys after the obvious ones, right? So those were the obvious ones. Let me know if I'm missing any, like, I'm talking super obvious, and we're going to get into the other guys next. But for me, that you're super obvious: Mahomes, Kelce, Chris Jones, Creed Humphrey, Joe Toney. Those should have been locks on the list no matter what. Now, after that, there are other guys who I think should be on there too, because we're talking top 100 here in the NFL, right? So, like, Nick Bolton, Future Trunk says Bolton is super obvious to me, maybe biased. Yeah, man, but, like, he's terrific. Like, is he, like, no-brainer? Maybe not, but, like, he really started to make a name for himself last year. Top 100? I mean, like, some of the guys that are on here, right? Like, let's go to 100 through 91. Like Jamal Williams at 95. First of all, let's just talk about Jamal Williams is in front of Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is at 96. Already, I'm just getting into the list. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Something's wrong. You got Jamal Williams in front of Trevor Lawrence. That doesn't make any sense. Eric Kendricks is on here from the Chargers, but Nick Bolton isn't. Kendricks is at 93. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. So Nick Bolton should definitely be on. Jerome says, if no Chief is on the list yet, who's the punter? Look, I think L'Jarius Sneed should probably be on this list. He's excellent. I know he doesn't have like a billion interceptions, but we talk about it all the time on the show. He's so versatile. He's one of the best tacklers on the defense. What he can do, I think he's one of the best 100 players in the NFL. and he's going to get paid. He's going to get paid like it when his contract comes due. So those were a couple that jumped out to me. Was Bolton. Bolton should maybe be on this list. I think Bolton should definitely be on this list. And I think L'Jarius Sneed should be on the list. Who are there other snubs that you guys think? Chiefs players that should Trey Smith? Like Trey Smith is pretty damn good. Lauren Shanks says Jason Kelce was 37 on the list, FYI. So if Creed Humphrey hasn't been on the list yet, and Jason Kelce was first team All-Pro, Creed Humphrey was second for center. So it sure seems like Creed's not going to make it. Clip says it's the best team we've ever had on paper. I think you could be right, man. I'm excited about this year. But back to this list. Anybody else you think should be on there for the Chiefs? If you're watching on YouTube, that isn't. I just don't know. You know, it's a summer thing, right? It's filler. We probably shouldn't get too worked up about it, but I don't know, man. It's kind of annoying. Future Trunk says the Cowboys have like 6 players on there. Yeah, like for the Chiefs not to have anybody on there yet, it's preposterous. And they just won the Super Bowl. And like, what do you guys think? Do you think that there's something here that they like they're not getting credit because of Mahomes? That like players are looking at the Chiefs and they're like, they're not that good. It's just like, you know, opposing fans have to do they do this stuff too, right? Like they're like, that team's not that good, and they make excuses. These guys are competing against the Chiefs. They're sick of losing to them. So like maybe are they kind of like, they're not that good. It's Andy Reid, it's Mahomes. You know, you got the Eagles. They're like, the Eagles are going around all summer talking about how they still should have won the Super Bowl, and they thought that they could have stopped the Chiefs offense. They were just slipping on the field, and they lost the Super Bowl. Lauren Shanks says they hate us because they ain't us. Yeah, absolutely. Clinton says McDuffie about to be an All-Pro. Yeah, I think he could. Well, I don't know about All-Pro this year. I think he's got All-Pro talent. If he makes the leap for him to make the leap to All-Pro this year, he's gonna have to go off. I don't know if he'll go off the way the Chiefs play defense, but maybe. I think the talent's there. I think he's really good. Yeah. All right. I'm going to call it, I think, on the NFL 100. It's frustrating. I'm annoyed. But what are you going to do? All right. Let's get into some true or false. Let's have a little fun here as we're getting towards the end of the podcast. I picked out like a handful of things. We did something similar with Verderame a couple weeks back, but I picked out a couple things. Tell me true or false. Some predictions for the season. So number 1, let me know in the chat. Sound off on YouTube if you're watching live. Skyy Moore will be the Chiefs' number 1 wide receiver. True or false? Let me know what you think. Skyy Moore will be the Chiefs' number 1 wide receiver. Obviously, we know Travis Kelce's technically the number 1 wide receiver, but will Skyy Moore lead all Chiefs wide receivers in receiving yards? I think it's going to be false. I think it's going to be MVS. I think MVS is going to be the guy Mahomes trusts the most, the veteran guy, second year in the system. I think maybe MVS has one of his best years, and I think the Chiefs continue to spread the wealth in the passing game to everybody. So I think Skyy Moore has a better season than he did last year, but I could see MVS going for like 800 yards, 900 yards, and Skyy Moore getting like 6, something like that, 7. We're getting Edifying says true. KCDC says Skyy number 2, so he's saying false. John F. Swacky World says, I think Moore is going to have a shit ton of receptions in the short yardage range. Perhaps. Does he come in and jump into who jumps into that juju role, right? Where do those catches go? Where do those yards go? Lori says, but Skyy has been great in training camp. He has been. It's just like, what are the Chiefs? The way that they play offense last year for me is like, are they going to just continue to distribute to everybody? And so the person with the most receiving yards just kind of ends up being the person that Pat trusts the most. and it ends up being MVS. Skyy Moore's still a little bit young, and so he gets to eat a little bit, but he doesn't become that overwhelming target guy that Mahomes goes to all the time. He's gonna look to Kelsey first every time, or a lot of the time, and so then who does he look at next? And last year it was Juju, and then it was MVS. So John says, of course, it depends on what number one wide receiver means exactly. Most yards. Yeah, I'm saying most yards. Most yards. If they're able to get the most yards with fewer catches than somebody else, they're getting downfield. So that's what I think. Brian says Skyy and Rice will be the Juju this year. That's what I think might happen. That you could just get a bunch of guys that kind of combine to fill that void, and MVS ends up being the receiver that repeats last year and stands out. All right, number 2. Isaiah Pacheco will rush for over 1,100 yards. Over 1,100 yards. What do you guys think? True or false? I'm going to go false here. I love Isaiah Pacheco. He looks like a linebacker in camp. Oh, by the way, shout out to was that Evan? Did Evan just gift a bunch of memberships? Hey, man. You basically just got an invite to the happy hour. Getting a lot of falses here. Yeah, false. Lori says false. Lauren Shank says false on Pacheco going over 1,100. Jimmy Lilly says, I think he comes in just under 1,100. I had it initially at 1,000, and I was like, that's not really fun. Like, I think we all hope he gets to 1,000 yards this year, but 1,100 is, I'm like, oh man, a Chiefs rusher with Andy Reid going over that. It's been a minute. So Cole says false. I'd say about 1,050. John says Pacheco probably won't get enough carries to get to 1,000 plus. Yeah, that's again, like the Chiefs just throw the ball so much. But he's got that speed. So, like, the question is, does he pop a couple big runs? That's how he's going to do it, right? Like, can he pop a couple big runs? If he's able to do that, I think he's got a shot at it, because I think he'll be there. I think he'll be there at 1,000. But does he have like some monster game where Andy does decide to run a bunch? Angry Junk in German says we play some terrible teams this year. Someone's going to get those fourth quarter outs. Yeah, I mean, that's very true. All right. But the consensus seems to be, no, he's not going to go over 1,100. All right. Number 3 here. True or false? Donovan Smith will get benched. I think I asked Verderam this, but I want to know what you guys think. Donovan Smith will get benched. I'm not sure what I think about this one. I'm supposed to be better prepared. Oh man. I don't know, man. Like, if he gets benched, it means one of two things, right? It means he's god-awful, or he's struggling maybe just a little bit, but like Wanya Morris is clearly better. I don't think Wanya Morris is going to be ready this year. So I guess I'm hoping that this is false and that Donovan Smith does what the Chiefs probably brought him in to do, which is buy them 1 year on the left tackle spot. But I'm going to go. Let me be bold. I'm saying true. He has not been great. He's not been great. He was injured last year, but he was bad. And the penalty history that he has worries the shit out of me, because that's a drive killer. And if Patrick Mahomes gets frustrated, or Patrick Mahomes doesn't trust him, I could see him getting benched. I could see the Chiefs trading for somebody if they get to October and like it's a huge problem. We'll see. I don't know. What do you guys think? John says false. Morris is a rotational for the first year. I think so, probably. But like, what if he's really bad? Like, what if he's as bad as he was last year? My good buddy Josh Hill, who works for Fansided, is a Bucs fan, and he said when Donovan Smith got cut, he said, "Thank God." He said to me, "Thank God he was the bane of my existence last year." Yeah, I don't know. Lauren Shank says having a good camp. We're good at left tackle. I don't know, man. Wait till he gets into a game. He's going to face some pass rushers. I hope I'm wrong. I don't want to be right about this, but I'm concerned. I'm concerned that there'll be a trust issue there, that they could start slow, that he could struggle. But Andy does like to stick with guys. That's the thing. Andy's not quick to just bench people. So it's probably unlikely, and he'll probably tend to lean towards trusting the veteran guy. But if there's somebody out there that's trade bait, that something could happen. KCDC says feels like a tall order for Morris. Yeah, it does. It does. But we'll see how he plays in the preseason. Said he was on the show, said he needed to get more consistent. Angry Drunken German says we've got some excellent coaches in the trenches. No doubt about that. That's true. How fast can they bring this guy along? We're going to find out. All right, next up. Kadarius Toney, true or false? Kadarius Toney will play over 10 games. I'm going to go false. I got no evidence that he can stay on the field so far in his career. So I think he's going to come back later than we all hope. They said there's a chance he could be back for the start of the season. I don't think he'll be there. I think even if maybe he could be out there, since he's Mr. Glass, I don't think they're going to rush him out. So I'm going false. I don't think. PJ says Toney will be on IR until week 4. Lori says false. KCDC says false. Pray it's true. False. I like him, but yeah, I mean, we all do. He's great. And I mentioned this. I did a TikTok about this. Like, this is a guy that, I mean, it would be nice to have out there, but if the other guys are playing well, if the young guys are playing well, he's a little bit like a fine sports car. You know, you don't take that thing. If you got a Lambo and it's snowing outside and you need to go to the grocery store, you know, you're taking the Chevy. You're not going to get the Lambo out and drive it in the snow to the grocery store. You don't want anything bad to happen to it. You want to wait for a nice summer day, and then you take it out of the garage and you drive it around and you impress all your neighbors and show off your midlife crisis. With Kadarius Toney, the Chiefs might want to, like, they look at what he did for them in the Super Bowl last year, and they might be like, we just want this guy for the playoffs. And that's what we're hoping for, that he can be a difference maker for us. PJ says, keep Toney on ice and break glass in case of emergency. That might be it. He may get used sparingly, especially if the other guys, if Justyn Ross is showing out and he's staying on the field, and Skyy Moore, and if Rashee Rice breaks the rookie wide receiver trend for the Chiefs, why slam him out there a bunch of times? You know, keep him for the playoffs. Keep him for your gadget plays. Put him in the McColl role, right? All right, next up, Trent McDuffie will lead the team in interceptions. True or false? Trent McDuffie will lead the team in interceptions. True or false? I've been going back and forth on this one. I'm going to say false, just because I think it could end up being a safety that leads the team in interceptions. I think McDuffie's good, and I think he's not going to get targeted a lot. Sometimes the guys that get those picks, not always, but they just avoid them. And the guys that get the picks are the players that they think they've got a matchup advantage against. And if the guy that Trent McDuffie's covering always looks like he's covered, then maybe they throw at L'Jarius Sneed. He gets the picks. They throw at somebody else, one of the other youngsters. So I'm going to say false. And we're getting false in there. John says false. Sneed. Edifying says false. Evan says Sneed will do it. Alan F says false. Sean says that's a crapshoot. Yeah, I mean, you know, it is, right? Weird that tip balls and all kinds of stuff. John F says McDuffie isn't really a ball hawk. He's a prevent the reception kind of guy. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. All right. Next up here, George Karlaftis. This was a fun one. I'm interested to know what you guys think. George Karlaftis and FAU will combine for more sacks than Chris Jones. True or false? George Karlaftis and FAU will combine for more sacks than Chris Jones. True or false? So Chris Jones got 15.5 last year. George got 6 in the regular season and 1 more in the playoffs. AFC Championship game, so 7. If Chris is probably not going to get 15 again. It's just it's a high number. Like, he comes in at like 12, 13 maybe. FAU, how much play does he get? You're hoping George makes the leap. So, like, does George get you 11, 10 this year? I think you'd be happy if you got 10 from George and lots of pressures. I'm going to go true. It's just 2 against 1. And George got 7 last year. So if he makes the jump and FAU, we'll see. But I'm going to go true. I'm going to be optimistic on this one. PJ says George worked with Tamba all offseason. He's going to be a beast. You know, Tamba and like what did he do? Jiu-jitsu? Like the hand stuff? John says true. Combined, yes. Angry Drunken German says, I don't see Felix getting more than 4. You could be right, man. Like that could be Felix is a big unknown, but you know, sometimes even sacks can be weird, right? Jerome says false. Chris Jones without a contract will ball out. I think he'll have a contract, but we'll see. Cole says true, but I feel like they'll combine for 13, give or take. Jones will get around 10. Yeah, that's possible. Lauren Shank says George 10, FAU 2, Chris Jones 13.5. Okay. PJ says yes. I think it means true. John says, I don't see George getting 10 sacks. I don't project him as a double-digit sack guy. His college stats don't suggest he's a big sack guy. That's fair. Just give me the pressures, man. He doesn't always have to get home. Just wear that dude out across from you. Sean says Jones is a big unknown. That's what makes it so hard, right? Like, he got so many sacks last year. 15 is really good. It's very unlikely he'll do that again, but I mean, I hope so. All right, next up, the Chiefs defense will be top 10 in the NFL. Justin Reid tweeted the other day that the defense has a chance to be special. And that's exciting for me because they've been pretty middling. I like them to be a top 10 defense this year. I'm going to go true. They are really young in places, but you got guys coming into their own with Bolton, the way those corners played last year and the safety. Like, this is it. Like, this should be it. They've invested so much in this damn defense. It's time. It's time for them to be a little less bend but don't break and a little more, formidable. It's not just like hang on, the offense will bail us out. It would be awesome if they were kind of leading the way this year. Angry Drunken German says true. Alan says true. John, yes, true, emphatically. Lori says true. Lauren Shank says true. Angry Drunken German, again, we play some really bad quarterbacks the first half of this year. We'll feast on garbage like the Eagles did last year. That's the kind of garbage feast I want to feast on, is the Chiefs feasting on garbage opponents. Jerome says true on top 10 without any sophomore slumps. KCDC, true. Cole says true. John says if we sign Jones and if Felix and George overperform, yes, true. But otherwise, top 17-ish. Okay, interesting. John says top 5, in my opinion. John's high. John Russell is high on the Chiefs. Defense. Edifying says true. 65 power trap says 65 toss power trap says it is time, Patrick. True. I hope you're right, man. Jose says true if Chris Jones is in. BL says this defense is really feisty, tenacious. Yeah. And Spags likes to get after it. So if the pass rush is working and they're really holding it, like those guys were so young in the secondary last year. If they're better this year and they're holding up and they're driving some more coverage sacks and things like that, and they don't have to blitz as much, they could be, man. It's time. It's time for the Chiefs to have a top 10 defense again. I think this is it. All right. Next up is Nick Bolton will make the All-Pro team. First or second team. That's all you need to get a true. Nick Bolton will make the All-Pro team. True or false? If the Chiefs, I'm going to go true with this, and I'll tell you why. He's getting better every year. And I just said, I think the Chiefs are going to be a top 10 defense. So like the thing that Bolton needs to like really make that All-Pro team is a little bit of the name recognition, right? Like his rookie year, we all knew Creed Humphrey was incredible. We thought he was one of the best centers in the league, and he didn't get nominated to the Pro Bowl. It's like people just didn't know who he was yet. Well, last year, Nick Bolton, he returns a fumble for a touchdown in the Super Bowl. Now, like it bounced right to him, but he was rushing. He was the one that caused Hurts to switch arms with the ball, and he fumbled it and he picked it up. So I'm going to say yes, because if we think the Chiefs are going to have a top 10 defense, he's coming off a Super Bowl where he got some more name recognition. If he goes out there and racks up 1 million tackles again and maybe gets a pick or two, some sacks, like I think he could become that dude. I think he's got the talent. He's really talented physically, but I think with Nick Bolton, it's the instincts. He's got incredible instincts. He knows where to be and when to be there, and he plays with incredible effort. So, he's got it going on upstairs. I'm going to go True. I think he's got a shot. It's so hard to make the All-Pro team, but I'm going to go with True. You guys, a lot of you seem to agree. John F says True. PJ says True. Cole says True. Future Trunk says True. Angry Junk in German says, I want our D to attack and come after people as much as the offense does. I'm with you, man. I feel like they're a little too passive sometimes, and I don't like it. Lori says True. Jerome says false. He can't break the top 100 list. Yeah, I mean that, but that's what the players, the all pro voters, in the media, they catch on a little bit faster. John F says, for top 10 defense, in my opinion, we are still a bit weak on the defensive line. Second solid defensive tackle, and Omenihu and Felix overachieves. We get Jones signed and the DB show improvement, then we'll be top 7-ish. I'm down. Lori says, I've got to go. Have to fix dinner. Thank you for letting me join the conversation. See you all soon. Thanks, Lori. You've been awesome. Thank you so much. It's tough going solo. It's tough doing a solo show. It's all about you guys. Whenever I got to go solo, I know you guys are going to be there to back my play and talk ball with me. And that's all I need. So we're already at an hour mark. I still got more material here. So you guys are the shit. MVP. Okay. Next up, the Chiefs I already did that one. Okay. Chris Jones will be on the field in week 1. True or false? I'm going to go true on this one. I put my cards on the table. Jose says Patrick is the man. You're the man, Jose. I got to go true. Chris Jones, he'll be on the field. I do not think that this is going to get so ugly that Chris Jones is missing games and game checks. I just don't. I don't see it. They can't. The reports were that they're far apart, but I just can't. I can't imagine they're that far apart. There's too much money on the line for Jones. There's too much legacy on the line for Brett Veach and the Chiefs. Like I think he's going to be there. John F says true. 65 toss power trap says true. Chiefs Kingdom 710. What's up, Patrick? I don't know if you remember, but it's all of Akbar here. Love the content. Ready for the upcoming season. What's up, man? New name. Sweet. Albert says true. John says, I predict Jones will have a down year, mainly due to the holdout. Interesting. I hope you're wrong. Chiefs Kingdom 710 says true. Future Trunk says true. I think at some point, both sides will be so sick of negotiating that they will meet at a random number. That's how I negotiate. I'm not so good. I just get tired. I just want to get moving. I'm not the guy you want negotiating for you. Alan F says true. That would cost him a lot of money. It would. You want to miss game checks. John Russell says true. Too much money left out there. He's saving his body, in my opinion. KCDC true. 65 toss power trap. Brett Veach won't let that happen. What are Patrick and Travis taking these pay cuts for? I agree. Edifying says true. Won't enhance his value moving forward. Agreed. He'll be on the field. I know he's going to be on the field. Okay. Next up, if the Chiefs, okay, so these two are kind of back to backs. This is an interesting one. If the Chiefs fail to win the Super Bowl this season, Andy Reid will retire. True or false? If the Chiefs fail to win the Super Bowl this season, Andy Reid will retire. He's got to come back, right? He didn't want to walk off into the sunset when he got a chance to go back to back to run it back. But if they don't win it, he's done. His legacy is complete. He's got 2. He's going to spend time with the family, all that. He's going to walk up into the sunset. Angry Junk in German says false. Albert says false. PJ says false. Evan says false. John F says no Super Bowl victory. False. Tranview. False. Alan F. False. Andy has no hobbies. What about cheeseburgers? He likes the cheeseburgers. Future Trunk says false. He will go out on a high. Edifying false. Jerome false. Andy will not retire yet. PJ says Andy will die with a clipboard in his hands. John says false. Nagy needs another year to get ready. John F's Wacky World says Andy Reid could easily coach for 10 years. Cole says false. KCDC says false. He does, and we've talked about this. He does have a chance for like all-time status. He's got a shot at it. He could surpass Belichick. He could. It's possible with Mahomes. He's up there, but he could do it. 65 Toss Power Trap says laughable. No way. Okay. So I tend to agree. I don't think he'll retire if they don't win the Super Bowl this season. I think he's going to coach for a few more years. But let me pose my next question to you. If the Chiefs do win the Super Bowl this season, Andy Reid will retire. True or false? Somebody said he wants to go out on a high note. If he wins back-to-back Super Bowls, he's got 3. Does he look at it and be like, you know what? I want to go out on top. Now, he could have done it this year, but he didn't. But there were like some rumblings. Like he got asked about it. Everybody says Super Bowl win. False. Nope. False. 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 Allen false. Evan false. PJ false. Albert false. I don't know what I'm more scared of. You know, because like remember how Brady won the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. And that's when he should have retired. He should have retired. But he's sick and he can't help it. And he was like, well, maybe I can get another one. So he comes back and then they have a down season and he calls it quits. There's a bug in here. So is Andy like that? Is that what you guys all think? Like Andy's like, that's why I asked the first question. That like he comes back after the win. If he's getting near retiring, and we don't know that he is, but if he is, what helps him make the decision? Is it like wanting to go out on top, being like, oh, I should have retired last year. We lost. I'm not, like, you know, that's the thing. KCD says false, 3-peat, baby. John says false. He wants more. He'll probably retire when Kelsey does. Oh, that's interesting. That's an interesting thought. And Kelsey said he's going to play till the wheels fall off. So, Future Trunk says, yes, true. Then he has completed the game. What is there more to win? 2 different teams with a Super Bowl and a back-to-back. I mean, that's a cool way to go out. You know, but I don't know. Look, the impression I get, and I don't know Andy Reid personally, he's been coaching his whole life, you know, to win a Super Bowl, to like be in this situation and be like, man, I've got like one of the best of all time. Like that's what you need, right? To be one of the best of all time. And Andy Reid is one of the best coaches of all time, no doubt. But to like go down in history as like one of the greats, like Patrick Mahomes got him to the place where it was like, this guy probably should be in the Hall of Fame, but he never won a Super Bowl. To once he won that Super Bowl, it was like, okay, yeah, now it's a no-brainer. He's in the Hall of Fame. To like, no doubt, like he's a no-brainer first ballot Hall of Famer now. So when you've coached as long as Andy Reid has, and you've put as much blood, sweat, and tears into this profession, and towards the end of your career, you hit the lottery and you get Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and this great organization and stability, he's just probably having so much fun that like I don't know how he feels physically, but like from a football perspective, he probably feels like he wants to coach for 20 more years. I mean, going to Super Bowls and winning them. He's been to 3 Super Bowls since he came to Kansas City. Since he got Patrick Mahomes. He's won 2 of them. I mean, that's got to be exhilarating. Cole says Reid won't retire from coaching until Mahomes retires from playing. Honestly, I don't see Nagy ever be. I don't know if Andy coaches throughout all of Pat's career. I hope Andy lives to a ripe old age. He's what, 65 now? How old's Andy Reid? He is 65. His birthday, when's his birthday? He was born in March. So, all right. People are living longer these days. Andy's only 65, so he hit retirement age, but You could, oh yeah, go into 70 easy. I could see him going to 70 easy. Why not when you got Patrick Mahomes? Lauren Shanks says Reid should hold out of camp next year. John says he's 65, same as me. He's just a smidgen younger than me. Yeah, he's my old man is he turned 65 in December and retired. He's enjoying it. You got a long way to go at 65. You have a long way to go. And if you can still work and you're having fun, why not? It's a high stress job, but again, like what else are you going to do? You know, my old man still works. He works 1 day a week usually. He's riding his bike and stuff. Why not coach a Super Bowl team? Coach one of the best quarterbacks of all time. I don't think burnout's coming for Andy. So I'm going to say false on both. He's going to coach for 5 more years. That's my prediction. All right. That was that. That was the Chiefs content. Appreciate you guys. Before we go, we're going to do Paddy's power rankings. John says, I'm 65 working full time, lifting weights like a mad dog. Why retire? And what's my price? Yeah. I mean, I work in digital media, so they'll probably throw me out of here at some point. I'm 40, but I don't want to retire. I don't know what I would do, man. I won't have enough money to just travel around. So, all right, I watch football. I can watch a lot of football. All right, let's do Paddy's power rankings. We're going to bring in producer Richard. As you know, what's up, producer Richard? As you know, we rank things on the show at the end of the show. Sometimes it's football related. Sometimes it's not. Usually it's about food. I was trying to think of something we hadn't ranked yet. We hadn't talked about, but it's something that I'm a big fan of. And I know a lot of you out there are big fans of as well. And that, of course, is cheese. So Paddy's power rankings this week, we are going to rank our top 3 favorite cheeses. So why don't I kick us off here with number 3 for me, and I'm going to go sharp cheddar. Love cheddar, but I just love all the sharp cheeses. I like all cheeses. You know, some people don't like the stinky cheeses. Some people like the bries and those types of things. I love it all, but I love like a sharp cheddar, man. Like I can just sit there with a knife. Honestly, I've never done it, but like I could foresee a situation where I was depressed enough that I would just grab a brick of sharp cheddar, Richard, and just eat it.
I could do that.
You know what I mean? Just hold the plastic bag and go to town. What do you think about sharp cheddar?
I enjoy it. It's one of those things where if you shred enough of it for like whatever food you're making, I've got to shred a little bit more just so I can eat it. You know, you got to account for the loss of, your own appetite. So agree.
Yeah. I love it. Let us know in the chat. I'm seeing Manchango. Got a smoked Gouda on there. Wisconsin extra sharp cheddar. Have you guys out there listening ever been to Mars Cheese Castle in Wisconsin? Have you been there, Richard?
Yeah.
Oh man,
That place rules.
It does, and they got free It's like they've got beer. It's not just cheese, but like it's unbelievable. What's your number 3?
My number 3. All right. So most of these, I wasn't ready for this list. So most of these are how I relate to cheese on my daily life. Monterey Jack is going to be my number 3. For me, it's an essential for every burrito, for me at least, because California burritos, especially the Mission style from San Francisco, those use Monterey Jack. We don't use anything else. So for me, that's an essential, and then I use it for a lot of other things too. But gotta love Monterey Jack. It's not it's not overpowering. That's usually the point of it. So it's just kind of perfect there as an addition to some food.
It's a popular cheese.
It is very popular.
Like, I think it's a very popular cheese in the United States.
That's why it's my top 3 there.
Yeah. PJ says Munster. I'm not a huge Munster guy. I don't think it has that much flavor. Do you like Munster, Richard?
I can't tell you if I even can recall what that tastes like, but I don't eat it enough to actually have an opinion. So no, I don't like it.
Yeah. It's kind of like orange on the. It's weird. I'm not a big Munster guy. Harvati's good. Pepper Jack. PJ says pepper jack.
It's a good
sandwich. Yeah, Alan's like pepper jack. Yeah. Love spicy anything. I'm with it. Okay. Number 2 for me though. People who are like really into cheese might consider this sacrilege, but I'm gonna go with Boursin, or is it Boursin? It's like I didn't take French. I think it's French, right? It's spelled Boursin. I always say Boursin.
Gotta add that
because I think that's maybe how it's pronounced. Does anybody know? Is it like I feel like if I say Boursin, It's I just sound like the idiot, like American, like uncultured, like I want some of that Borson. Evan says, okay, Patrick knows good cheese. That shit, I don't know how they make it. Borson, I don't even know if Borson's a cheese. It might just, it's the brand, but it's like, it's just, it comes in like a little circle and you unwrap it and you can like just, it's fucking unbelievable. It's so goddamn good. It's like crack. Every time I go to a party, somebody has that shit because it's like really easy. You just open it up and it's on a little foil thing. And like you can even, it's soft enough that you can just dip your cracker right in it if it's if it's a sturdy enough cracker. Mm-hmm. I just stand there and I'll look down because it's not that big. It's like the size of a hockey puck. And I'll eat the whole thing. It's like 1 billion calories. It's so good. I don't know what's in it. I don't know what I see it and I'm like, God, that stuff's so good. I'm buying it. Have you had the Boursin?
I probably have. I love cheese in general. So like, if there's a plate of what you're talking about, I'll just hang out there. I won't even interact with the function. I'll just kind of hang out near the cheese station and just indulge until I feel sick. So I probably had that. I've had a lot of cheeses in my life. I'm not good with the soft ones, that's for sure. But if it's like in that medium range, it's not that bad. I just don't like the watery ones. Those things those are weird to me. They're too slimy.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a little strange. All right, what's your number 2?
My number 2. All right, I had to throw one a little off the wall here, but I'm a big fan of like a nice pungent cheese, like a blue. So I'm gonna put like a Roquefort in there, or even a Gorgonzola. I just love stinky cheeses. There's something really enjoyable about that. I wasn't big on it when I was younger, but I've grown to really enjoy a nice stinky cheese. It's essential for like any salad, at least salads.
I was the same way. Yeah. I was the same way. I didn't like stinky cheeses when I was younger. And then I got onto Gorgonzola. Gorgonzola is incredible. It's not on my list, but it is incredible. You can do a lot, like throw in a little Gorgonzola on a steak. Oh, get out of here.
I've never done that, but you're right. The blue cheese dressing or like whatever they call that, or at least, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Gorgonzola on a steak, on fries. That's what got me onto it. I was ordering lunch when I used to work in New York City, and this place had these Gorgonzola fries, and they blew my friggin' mind. I saw somebody in there say Gorgonzola as well. Okay, number 1 for me is gonna be smoked Gouda. Dude, smoked Gouda. Gouda is just incredible. But like when you get into the smoked cheeses, like the smoked mozzarella, Mag makes me this. I call it chicken a la Mag. She makes this chicken and she like marinates it in like balsamic vinegar and some other stuff, and then she slices it when it's done, like the chicken breast, and she puts in smoked mozzarella in the middle and tomatoes, like slices of tomatoes, and like down the chicken breast, and like does the garlic bread and like puts it over a bed of arugula. Oh, it's like one of my favorite things. It's so goddamn good. Absolutely love it. She does smoked mozzarella, but Gouda will work. And Gouda is just so creamy. It's the best. I saw some people in the chat say Gouda as well. Oh yeah, KCDC says Gorgonzola stuffed filet mignon. Oh,
yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah. All right. What's your number 1,
right.
Richard?
Number 1, again, this is just relating to my daily use of cheese here. It's essential. This is my favorite because it goes on my favorite food. Mozzarella. It's for pizza. All right. So you can't have I've seen people make all cheddar pizzas. I don't know what you're doing with your life. Just stop it. It's got to be mozzarella only, or mozzarella and other cheeses. That's fine too. But it's an essential for Richard. So that's why it's my number 1. I love pizza, so I love mozzarella.
Mozzarella is versatile. Good in omelets. Like you're looking to make a healthy omelet, but like punch it up with some cheese. That's my go-to, mozzarella.
I'm getting
hungry. It. That's a good list. Evan says, Patrick, your cheese list is absolutely amazing. Why, thank you, sir. I hope you've been well. Yes, I do have a good cheese list. There's so many more. I mean, I love a brie. Give me some brie and white wine. Let's fucking go. Like I'm all for it. The other thing I didn't talk about on here, I love any of the salty cheeses. Like, give me that cave aged, like whatever, I'm all for it. Like, I want to be chewing salt crystals. Love it.
I agree.
But I try to diversify my list a little bit in the Borson list. Nobody told me. I count on you guys out there. Nobody told me how to pronounce Borson. I thought for sure somebody would know.
We've got no French.
We got people overseas and stuff. Like, I don't. PJ Castleman says Brie Larson and white wine goals. Yeah, that sounds great. She's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Good actress. She's Captain Marvel, right?
You got it.
Yeah.
Carol Danvers.
She was awesome in Avengers when she shows up like at the end and like catches his sword or whatever. I love that part. Crowd went friggin' crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But then she got smoked. You remember what happened after that?
It's been a while, but yeah, no.
Yeah, he basically he basically like home run hits her after that. I don't know. He just like he catches the sword and then he's just like wham. So, Angry Drunken German is telling us to stop.
He doesn't want us to talk about the Avengers, probably.
He doesn't want us to talk about the
He's
Avengers.
a DC guy.
Oh, he's a DC guy.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite Batman? Richard.
Ooh, shit. Kilmer, but that's just respect to Kilmer.
Kilmer's such a good actor.
Yeah.
So good.
Those movies weren't that great, but I'll just say Kilmer
No.
because I love Kilmer.
Yeah, it's not about the movies. I loved Keaton, man.
Of
like
course.
maybe that's because that was like my first Batman. Like I didn't grow up on Adam West. I'm not that old, but like Keaton was a great Batman. Evan says Bale. Yeah, Bale's such a good actor. I just didn't like I didn't care for his Batman voice, like where's the Joker? Like I thought it was a little too much.
You got to hide your voice though. You know, people can't. You don't want someone you save who might know you to go, hey, is that Bruce? So you got to change your voice.
Yeah, I mean, at least he's got a mask on though,
Yeah.
like Clark Kent. I mean, try to explain that one to people.
Exactly.
Throws on a pair of glasses, but like I thought that Keaton, like he hit like the Playboy angle a little bit more.
Definitely.
You know, I know they had the thing with Bale on the boat with the ballet, with the Russian ballet, and that was pretty cool. But do you have a favorite Alfred?
I can't even tell you. Wait, who?
I don't know the names of the actors, but it's Michael Caine, man. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how you could have a better Alfred than Michael Caine.
He's
Jerome says Heath Ledger Joker. I got a big soft spot in my heart for Jack's Joker. I was just rewatching that movie. You know, if Jack had gotten that role he's in the Tim Burton one, right? And he's perfect for the Tim Burton one.
Yeah.
If Jack was in what's the director's name? Interstellar.
Christopher Nolan.
Oppenheimer.
Christopher Nolan.
Nolan. I don't know. I just totally brain. If Jack was in the Christopher Nolan one, do you think his Joker would have been it would have been different for sure?
Yeah.
He wouldn't have been quite so cartoony. Do you think he could have done a better joke? All right, same role, so same script. Jack gets to play that script. Does he do better than Heath Ledger? Heath Ledger was friggin' amazing.
Yeah. I feel like there might have been a prime for Nicholson, and I'm like debating if he was in it at that point in his life. I mean, what year did those movies come out? Or at least the Dark
90?
No, I mean, or at least the Nolan film. So if he was gonna,
the Nolan,
yeah,
I'm thinking he would have been younger. They wouldn't have cast old, overweight
okay.
Jack.
We're playing a little time travel.
Yeah.
Here. Okay,
so
gotcha.
Jack in his prime. I'm talking Shining Jack.
Oh yeah, perfect. Yeah, he could have done it. We're talking
he definitely could have done. Do you think he'd have been better than Ledger?
It would have been different. I don't even want to say that out of respect for Ledger. It could have definitely been different, and he would have had his own intensity for sure.
Yeah, too great. I mean, too great.
Yeah.
I think if you want to see what he would have been like as Joker, just watch The Shining.
Mm-hmm.
Is that style of Joker? He's fantastic. He's scary. He had the wild eye. If he did it less cartoony, it would have been a little bit more like The Shining. God, maybe I'll watch The Shining tonight.
Let's do a Jack marathon. Just go watch some.
Jack. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah,
bro, so good.
Easy Rider.
So good.
Easy Rider.
What?
Easy Rider, wasn't he in that? Co-stars in that, I thought.
Easy Rider. Chinatown. He's incredible in Chinatown. Little Shop of Horrors. That's a throwback. He's in that.
He is in that? Okay, I don't remember.
The original, yeah. All right. Well, we did 20 minutes of TV. Audience has dwindled a little bit. There's still 75 of you out there. Hey, man, it's the off season. Go watch the Hall of Fame game. Hall of Fame's going. Football's back, baby. It's going to be terrible football. Halfway through the first quarter, you'll be sorry that you tuned in. But just like it's like an appetizer. Mm-hmm. It's not even like it's what do they call it? An aperitif? When they just give you like a little
smidge.
Just like a little thing, like this is a shot of lemon water at the fancy restaurants. That's what this is. That's what the Hall of Fame game is. Real preseason starts next week. Nobody good's probably going to play, but you get a look at some youngsters, maybe some people, that'll get picked up on the Chiefs someday. That'll get cut. We'll see. But I'm just glad there's going to be a football game on tonight. I don't care. Yeah, I know you're a big Hall of Fame game guy, Richard.
Oh, I've got it on TiVo. Don't worry.
Yeah, right.
I'll be busy.
All right. Oh, Angry Jenkins German's mad about Brie Larson. I like Brie Larson.
I've got no problems with her.
She's a good actress.
I like The Room. The Room was good. Or Room. Sorry, Room was cool.
Yes, Room was good. Yeah. That was good. All right. PJ says Brie Larson was my fault. We've devolved. Listen.
Stop.
Thanks to Evan for gifting those subscriptions. Hoping to meet some more of you. I'll be in the Discord tonight for the Hall of Fame game. So hope to see you guys there. And just thanks for your support. It's always, like I said, it's always tough to go solo. Appreciate all of our audio listeners as well. You guys are absolutely the best. Make sure you leave us a 5-star reviews over on Apple Podcasts. We need some momentum going into the season. Okay. So this is it. The Hall of Fame game starts tonight. Next week, it's the schedule. It's like the regular season schedule. We're going to have our weekly shows, and then we're going to be here for the game, pregame, halftime show, postgame. So let's fucking go. Chiefs are playing football next weekend. I can't wait. I'm so excited. Thank you so much to producer Richard for everything he does. And thank you to all of our members and listeners. And we'll see you next week. But until then, as always, go Chiefs.